Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the main stage of Contour and Charisma, presented by Girls Run These Worlds. I'm your host, Cosmic Dazai. This month, our spotlight is on Cyberpunk Red. Within our last episode, our gig economy mercenaries were sent to crash a party on a cruise ship known only as the Titanium Princess. While the plan went off without hitch, one of the things that soured their victory was the fact that one of their targets was barely an adult, and it was their birthday party. Now being plastered all over the news and still indebted to their corporate overlords, what will our cast do next? With that being said, women, start your engines and may the best cutthroat win. You all saw it right in front of you on the news. The woman reporting the story seemed as dead-faced as ever. Yet the subtle motion she made with her hands as she clutched onto the papers before her made it rather clear that she was terrified with how this was going to boil out. And now in other news, the Arasaka princess, Miyuki Arasaka, alongside other relatives within her family, were confronted last night in what was allegedly an operation taken out by Miltech operatives on the night of her 18th birthday. While an investigation is currently underway, Miltech spokesmen and lawyers have already claimed this to be one of their carry-out operations. While police are attempting to scrub down the cruise ship for any traces of the operatives that carried out the attack, Arasaka has claimed that this attack has led to a complete and utter breakdown of relations and will lead to an immediate implementation of a remilitarization within the streets of Night City and throughout the continents of America, Asia, and Europe. In other news, Elizabeth Kress has stated that such actions will lead to a breakdown of corporation immunity, and she sends her condolences to the Arasaka family at this time of mourning. It was, in all fairness, quite a way to wake up. After the emotional turmoil that came along with murdering a whole group of people and receiving your eddies, the last thing you wanted on your plate was to essentially wake up to the news of you attempting to kill an entire family. It was tragic. Her boss told you that it was essentially a bunch of elite degenerates in there, yet the news of it breaking in on essentially what you did to an elaborate birthday party was, according to your brief, an eyes wide shut sadomasochism party. It was anything but. It had utterly surprised you that, truth be told, your boss was angry at you. From what you knew, you had carried out the job. Death was cheap after all, especially for that lot, yet the news covered it as if Princess Diana herself was almost ran off the road for a second time. Or maybe someone else had been shot from a balcony once again. It was all horribly grotesque, making it to the point of irritation and exhaustion for you all, to the point where you simply tuned out and turned off the monitor. It was terribly macabre, even if you all to some extent knew that this was the work you were signing up for to begin with. Yet still, it didn't seem to pass by quickly, as it seemed as though your boss had other plans for you. He didn't call you, no, but a notification came up within your periphery saying that he requested your presence. You were all still in your respective crummy apartments when the notification came up on your NeuroWare. However, if you knew anything, Stephen wasn't the person that could talk nicely to people who were beneath him. Let me ask, how are you all living?
Kel shares a shitty apartment with her sister, living on the kibble diet. Although with her smuggled out leftovers from the fancy party they crashed, they're doing all right now.
Okay, I hope you have a refrigerator.
Definitely selling like black market alleyway deal crab legs out there.
I hope you have the butter sauce. Next. Sweetheart, how are you living?
I live in a teeny tiny postage stamp of an apartment by myself. I managed to fit me and my art supplies. The one thing about my apartment that makes it cozy is that it is filled with paper books rather than ones that I can read on my Neuralware. Just it's a fire hazard. They're stacked as far as I can get them.
That's nice to know. Enki, how are you living? How you all how you all lived was could be a lot worse, but it was worn in, more or less, to say the least. Night City had a problem with overpopulation at this current moment. People were crowded in into small apartments and condominiums that could barely fit a person, let alone be their own, let alone be even a closet for people. Yet still, with how the prices seem to be going up and how inflation and the job market just seem to constantly be crashing around you, you made do with what you could, at least for the time being. Nevertheless, Brittany came around to pick you all up. As you all huddled into the car, you could see her once again. Blonde hair pulled back into a ponytail, sunglasses on, and the typical black blazer that she was adorned with. So, I know you guys said that you guys finished the job, but I guess you didn't kill the kid.
That's what the news says.
Do you know why Steven's gonna speak to you today? He seemed a bit irate with me over the phone last night.
I assume that Stephen is going to do his level best to rip my spine out of my body.
Listen, man, I'm not here to judge you. It's a shit job, but it just couldn't have been me. That's all. Steven kind of, scares me. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I've been running calls all this morning, and you know, the Meltech execs and all the higher ups, they don't really seem all too happy. You know, I'm kind of scared.
Nothing for you to be scared about. Technically, I'm the one fucked up.
I mean, like technically, I'm like associated with you. I had to click off that you guys. I had to like confirm that you guys killed everyone. I mean, I could be like an accomplice or something.
Yeah, you went off the information that we gave you, which, to our knowledge, was good.
Listen, I just it seems rough. It seems rough. I heard the people they were saying that, some job cuts were going to be happening, and I don't know what that means anymore.
I suppose we'll find out, Brittany.
Okay. She exhaled, not really knowing what else to say, and she continues to drive off. As you eventually make your way to the offices, she turns around to look back at you all and is like, she seems hesitant to let you out of the car. She can't protect you anyway, but she knows that once you get out of the car, she really has no jurisdiction over what happens to you afterwards. Tell me how it goes when you get back. Don't, I still don't have another job to attend to, so I guess I'll be right here. Even the lines on her face as they try to crinkle up into a smile of comfort, it came off as awkward and even scared for you all, even if she knew she wasn't being the one called up into the offices yet. There was still that fear that was present. The Militech offices, and by proxy Corpo Square as a whole, was desensitized. It was characterized by its blinding bright lights, smooth, slick design that came right out of a contemporary boardroom, and the massive horde of bodies dressed head to toe in suits that were all worth more than your collective lives. It, as expected, oozed of privilege. It was the bubble. More of a bubble than DC ever was. It was like being under a microscope. You knew you were being watched, but you just had to accept it and move on. You weren't necessarily yourself to begin with. You belonged to Militech. Hell, you were pretty sure that you had a barcode on you, proclaiming their ownership of you lot at this point. As you walked into the building, you could see the eyes that followed you everywhere you went. You weren't welcome here. Sure, some of the lower peons like you occasionally would walk up in here if you had been handed off a special job, but that was very few and far between. Usually it was just a phone call or even an email, and that was all that was needed. The fact that you were allowed inside with people like them spoke words in and of itself. Either you did something incredibly good or you fucked up. For you all, we can probably safely assume it was the latter. After all, how could someone as dirty and lowly like you be allowed in the same building, let alone the same room as someone as high and pristine as all of them? You could see some people pass you by, not at all even wanting to make eye contact with you lot. They probably had an inkling that you were the lot that were behind the massacre and the fuck up that led to the death of the Arasakas. But still, the fact that you all did physical work was simply beyond all that. It spoke of your innate dirtiness, if you will. One of the people that was in there was messing on their phone. She had dark blue hair, a sheriff-like pink lips, and a business jacket and pencil skirt that screamed a yuppie up-and-comer. She clearly wasn't paying attention, as she was going through her portfolio with one of her associates. She looked up towards you all with a mixed look of disgust and confusion present on her face. Shouldn't you all be at work? No.
Even called, we answer.
I didn't call you. I would never call something like you.
Well, someone did.
Summoned, whistled, whatever you do for your dogs.
Can I ask? It just. I don't know why you're here, to be quite frank. I thought we made it clear that people like you weren't allowed in here. I thought you would dirty the floors or something like that. She looks over towards her associate, seemingly confused. The associate seemed more mousy and almost fearful of your presence, almost like she didn't even know how you managed to get in the doors at all, let alone the front doors where the glass was. Those were the special doors. They were made for someone like you.
I don't
Please,
want to be here more than you want us here.
please leave. I don't want to be seen talking to a city fucker like you.
You addressed us, honey.
Listen, I need to liquidate some assets. I don't want to be caught dead talking to some
Then
blue
don't.
collar fuck. Please, I'm talking.
Exactly.
Talking.
You are talking. We
I'm
were walking
talking.
past you.
I don't even know why
Bye.
people
And
like
I'm
you
just
are
gonna
allowed
keep
to
walking.
be. I'm going to go to HR about this.
Please
You
do.
hear her
And I'm just
yell.
gonna keep strolling.
You hear her yell this out as she like turns over back towards her. So she's just like the nerve of some people.
You're welcome to talk to our manager.
You finally make your way to the elevator to scale up the building. This was an utterly familiar motion for you all. Of course, like any proper caste system, you weren't permitted to enter the regular elevators, as those were only for people who weren't of your ilk. as this building, along with many others, made it rather clear you didn't belong here, let alone deserve to be here, as the woman that you just talked to made it rather clear. Yet, it was one long ride up before you all could reach the top. Is there anything that you all want to say to each other before you enter?
Which one of you had the princess? Which one of you had the daughter?
It was me. I did. And I'm happy to tell him that.
Did you know she wasn't dead?
Yeah. That part I don't intend to tell him.
You could have warned the rest of us, though. A heads up.
You're 100% right. I don't know what
I
to
don't
tell you.
mind walking in a shitstorm. I just need to know what's coming so I can bring an umbrella.
What's coming is that I'm going to take responsibility. I'm the one that fucked up, and I'm the one that told you all the wrong thing.
You won't take it alone.
I should. The rest of you did your jobs.
The whole thing was all of our jobs.
Yeah, but again, like you said, you didn't know. And part of the reason you didn't know is so that when we got our asses chewed, I'm the only one culpable. Well, then I'm sorry I fucked us.
Wouldn't have let you stand alone anyway. You don't let one of the pack go down by themselves.
Well, let's go hear what the man has to say.
Meanwhile, Kel is also passive aggressively leaving greasy, like, engine oil handprints on things as much as she can. She is the reason our type is not allowed to. She's being very, like, just touching any shiny metal surfaces. Nah.
I'll keep that in mind for the poor worker that has to clean that up later.
Job creation.
Now you have a CEO mindset. After a few minutes pass, you finally make it to the 77th floor. It wasn't the top of the building, but it was getting close to it. It was a sign of immense power that Stephen was this close to the top, and that you were permitted to be this close to the top spoke something either for you or against you. Yet, if any of you knew anything, it was the fact that he wouldn't be satisfied with this. He would never be satisfied with this, even though he smiled. The malice that was present on his face made itself apparent. Even though he was your direct superior, your fixer, and had the wealth akin to that of an emperor, at least to you, he would still never be content with his job nor his life until he was in the office space at the very top of the tower. As he looked towards all of you, cigarette in hand, he smiled at you with contempt, malice. He looked angry, but it looked like he was this close away from trying to unleash whatever reservations he had about showing that side of himself to you all. Just the people I wanted to see. Come in, please. You know, I was going to ask you all what it was like. I was going to ask, did they scream any? Did any of them plead for mercy? I was going to ask, what was it like? But imagine my shock after I get your report saying that you killed them, that she shows up on the news claiming that there's going to be repercussions for her actions. Imagine my fucking shock. Now tell me, who do I have to look at that fucked up this mission? well, isn't that so sweet? This isn't a fucking movie. One of you fucking did it. But, you all want punitive, communal, repercussions. That's fine. I'm fine with it. Truly. Let me ask, is it normal for people like you to be given a job and then not fucking do it? Is that just commonplace? Do you know nothing of responsibility?
We thought the job was done. We thought she was dead. Turns out she survived.
Turns out she survived.
Willing to go back and fix it, sir.
I don't think you fucking understand. I don't think you understand. You see, he stubs out the cigarette on his expensive desk before walking closer to you. You see, 267. I don't think you understand the fucking repercussions here. She's on the news now. She's now in charge of the military forces of Arasaka. Clearly, you can't handle a simple mission like this that was easy enough, that was on a fucking cruise ship. Do you know how much security is going to be around her now? Now that she came of age, now that she has officially a position within Arasaka, and now that you fucking idiots fucked up this mission and left her alive. Do you at all understand the consequences of that? Because I do. I fucking do.
Could be worse. Could have been the uncle that survived. Could have been the father. Your competition's in the hands of a teenage girl who doesn't want the job, from what I heard.
Number 267. He leans in forward, puts his hands on your shoulders, almost as if trying to talk to a child that doesn't quite understand. I don't think we're speaking the same language, or that you understand me. I know you know Mads are a dumb fucking lot, but just stay with me for a second, okay? Let me try and dumb it down for you. That fucking teenage girl has more wealth and more power than all three of you fucking idiots combined.
It doesn't take much, sir.
Doesn't take much. It would have taken fucking much if you fucking killed her. He walks.
Perhaps assigning us to a mission that we didn't fully understand because the actual reality of the mission did not match the briefing that we received, which we did read on the way because we all can read. Perhaps putting us in a floating tin box with an entire army and expecting that anyone could have murdered an entire family without anybody noticing and slipped out was not the most efficient way to go about things.
Are you questioning my judgment?
Yes.
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 Aggressively, yes.
Loudly. Emphatically.
Sir.
Sir.
He walks away from you all before turning out to face his windows, trying to look at the view of Night City. Let me ask you something. What was it that you all were taught? You all came from vastly different backgrounds. I have checked over your files. Let me ask. What was it that you were expecting when you got this fucking job?
I was taught not to trust men like you.
I was taught to be expecting to get fucked over, sir.
I was taught to get paid.
One of you has the right mindset on things. I can almost appreciate that if we weren't in this circumstance right now. However, there is something that we are taught, to be quite frank. Let me ask you all something, and there are, you know what, there are wrong answers here. What would you do when a ship is carrying 100 passengers, suddenly capsizes, and there is only one lifeboat? What would you do?
Swim, sir. I would swim.
Swim and freeze? Or in the middle of the ocean? How are you going to get to land? No Chrome you have can fucking do that shit. Not that you could afford it anyway. Let's be honest. What we're taught is that when a lifeboat is full, those that hate life will try and load it with more people and sink the entire ship. Those who love and respect life, such as myself, will take the ship's axe and sever the extra hands that cling to the sides. I don't think you understand what's going on here. This isn't a democracy. There cannot be so incompetent a rulership under a dictatorship that would show more stupidity than the majority of people. And I haven't been more proven that by you all last night. You know what you're preventing now? Economic growth. That's what you're doing. You are trying to save people from drowning when the right choice is to sever the hands that cling to the side of the ship. You have this irrational faith in people, and you should be looking more at the numbers. And your rationality led to what was once a minor fucking detriment, capsizing and imploding on all of us. Now tell me, if you were in my position, what would you do? Seeing as the people that were your inferiors fucked up a job that they lied to you about and said that they succeeded at.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you actually want to hear what we had to say now? You've been proselytizing for a while, so.
Do you know what business is about? 367.
Frankly, sir, I don't give a shit. Either you want us to fix it or you want to fire us. Do one or the other.
Have you ever noticed that there are 2 less people here than there were last time?
Yeah, I can count too.
That's surprising because you can't seem to tell the truth on their report.
Let me solve this for you. I would like to pull out my agent and wire back the $2,000 that they gave us and stand up.
Now, he sees this. He tries to keep the smile, the couth that he was grown to, that he has been raised to believe that he has been inherently gifted with. as you wire it back, it doesn't go to him directly. He's not in charge of, the economic portion of it.
I just want him
However,
to see me do it.
you know, something that always got me about poor liberal types like you is you don't understand what it is like, the honor of having a good day's work. But now is not the time for that. Let's go on. Now, you can leave if you want to. However, there's a job that you need to complete. And God forbid that you don't complete this job and you are still on company assets. I'm afraid that what happened to number 471 will have to happen to the rest of you as well.
So, am I free to leave, or do you want me to complete a job?
You're free to do whatever you want. Just remember who's paying your bills at the end of the day.
That doesn't answer my question, sir.
I answered it well enough for you.
No, you didn't, actually. You didn't answer any part of my question. Do you want us to complete a job, or are you firing us? Because this thing where you just hang it over our heads while also asking us to complete something doesn't super work for me, actually.
267, 194. Does she speak for the rest of you?
A solid answer as to whether or not I'm fired after I finish this other job for you would be nice. If we finish this other job, our job's secure.
If you finish it correctly.
Is all forgiven.
If you finish it correctly.
All I need to know. Job will be done, sir.
Okay. He goes into his drawer, pulls out a manila folder. Before flopping it on the desk, along with 3 chips that are to link up to your neuro links. It may be hard for minimum wage earners like you to understand, but I'll try to make you all aware of your position all the same. Our traditions are oriented around power. Power comes from the soul. I can tell that you have none, otherwise you wouldn't really be working for me. However, that aside, business isn't just numbers on a screen. It's blood and guts. It's primal violence. That aside, he runs a loose hand through his slicked back blonde hair before walking away from the window and going to sit down and pour himself a glass of brandy. He looks before all of you, before gesturing towards the chips before you all. As you all look behind him, you can see the face of an aging Native American woman before you all, projected onto the screen. She was dressed in her typical traditional cultural garb, yet she still wore a blazer and talked powerfully and charismatically to a group of people that seemed utterly enthralled with her, as she merely spoke at length about the planet and about her disdain for corporations. Perhaps you all have seen her before on TV, but perhaps she was unfamiliar to you all. Can you all roll for me a perception check? It is your base with a D10.
21.
21.
16 for me.
16.
17.
17. So, Anki, Kel, you have no idea who this woman is, to be quite frank with you. You don't really keep up with politics. It's not really your thing, to be honest with you. This is just a random person. Sweetheart, you know full well who this person is. This was one of the political upstarts that had been slowly but surely angering a bunch of corporate overlords and hedge fund managers for the past 5 years. You know this person to be Elani Ekelano. They were a nomadic person that was one of the few surviving tribes left within America. They have moved to the desolate lands of DC, made a name for themselves, and decided to make a running for themselves. While you weren't too familiar with what this speech was, you knew that they had this love and affinity for the planet and for human rights, and specifically that angered a lot of corporate executives, Stephen included. Now, with that being said, some of these that for the rest of you, it was best to ignore and not pay attention to things that don't completely have to do with you. Yet, you knew, even for those of you that didn't know who this woman was, you knew by the fact that she was being displayed on the screen before you all, meant that now involved you. Representative Elani Ekelano is going to be hosting a campaign rally in the local mega mall. She has made a name for herself, taking a strong stand against multinational corporations and monopolies. It is expected that she will announce her bid for presidency within the new United States of America. It should be obvious, even to meatheads like you, that this isn't very good for us. Thankfully, our interests align with those of the current president and former Militech executive, Elizabeth Kress, and we've been given free hands to do with Alani as we wish. Expect heavy security. She wants any of her supporters, to be made an example of what happens when you try to play savior. So, go whole hog, I guess. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure you do care, sir. Last time you said make an example with no specifics given, and now we're in trouble. You might want to be more specific, sir.
Are you guys familiar about the founding myth of how Germany was first made? What happened was Roman soldiers walked into a forest. What happened was the barbarians of Germany found them, gutted them, and strung them up from the trees by their intestines. Of course, trees don't exist in Night City, but you get the picture.
Sounds
Deck
like
the
a wild
halls.
party.
Got it, sir.
Any questions? She has been launching assaults against our fracking operations for months now, and that messes with our profits. If you go in there and kill Alani, her and her supporters will be sure to devolve into endless infighting and bickering. Now, the last time your morals got in the way, it led to one of our rivals staying alive. So, with that being said, don't worry, she's well above the age of 18 and it isn't a birthday party. Kill her.
Good to know. Thank you, sir.
Get out of my office.
I snatch my chip and walk out.
Kel also grabs her chip, slamming her hand down and sliding it, leaving a big ol' handprint on his nice shiny desk.
Good luck! And don't fuck it up.
Yes, sir.
You all leave.
As soon as we get outside, I just kind of.
Oh, I need a shower after talking to that man.
I hate that man.
Like, I know I'm not paid to think, but I honestly thought the job was going to be something to do with boats. Didn't you
Yeah,
guys?
it was a bad plan. Maybe, like maybe. Okay, look, I listen. I probably shouldn't say that because I'm the one who fucked up the plan. But I'm just saying we could have done it on land.
I mean, he said all this stuff about boats and sinking, and like, doesn't the captain go down with the ship and not the crew? Like, I
Yeah,
feel
and
like this reflects on him and not us.
yeah,
I think he's mad because it has reflected on him.
Yeah, that's fine.
also, yeah. I
He's
mean,
middle management in a fancy suit. He's
he's
getting
living a
yelled
worse
at.
life than we are.
I hope so.
One can dream.
Yeah.
We might be in shit with the man, but at least we're not Steven.
Yes, I'll take that. I will take that.
That's my new toast every time I go drinking now. Thank you for that.
At least we're not Steven.
Yeah.
You all leave and descend down the elevator. Once again, you can see the endless stairs of disgust and discomfort meet yours as you make your way back out the lobby and onto the stairs. Once again, Brittany was there to pick you all up with the same passive expression that she has been known to give. Oh, you guys are back. That took longer than I expected. Did you guys get chewed out or something?
Steven
Or
had a lot
something.
of big feelings he needed to discuss.
Usually when it takes that long, I don't really expect people to come out alive, but you guys are special. So, I guess, you guys lived. Congratulations, I guess. I don't know.
Thanks. I don't know. Maybe he just needs a nap. Maybe it's just close to nap time for him, so he just sort of let us go. We'll see.
Should we hire him an escort? Do you think it would put him in a better mood if we hired him an escort?
We could do something for him. Maybe just like a night out on the town, just something to just do away with some of that tension in his spine, you know?
I heard the Joy toys that he likes because I usually have to pick him up. The Joy toys that he typically likes are typically, a bit higher end. I don't really think we can afford them on our salary, to be honest with you.
Ah, that's fair. That is how the other half lives.
I don't know. Steven just seems like that type. I don't know. What are you guys doing?
You'll never believe this, but another job.
We're going to the mall.
I heard that they had really nice stores in there, but they don't really have that much money to afford going out there. But be careful in there. I heard the security's somewhat tight.
You don't think we'll blend in seamlessly? Look at us.
Average Nat City residents.
I mean, like a lot of the people that typically are around Hailani kind of like swear off all the technology crap. Like I read through her file. I heard that she's one of the few people that's still completely like Ganik. One of those fringe types.
Sounds boring.
I mean, listen, I just hear things, people talk a lot during these rides. It's not like I can profit from anything they say. It really doesn't do me any good to gossip. I gain nothing new, so it makes me reliable, I suppose. As she begins to drive off, she looks over towards her monitor, just scrolling through more information about her. She's one of those environmentalists that are like totally against all this new technology and shit like that. Some people say she might have been like a solo at one point, but who am I to say? All those tribes live on the fringes anyway.
That wasn't in the file.
Oh, no offense meant to present company. She says, looking over
the solo thing wasn't in the file. That's good to know.
I mean, I don't look much into the news. It says like, but you say shit like that, you're bound to get, fucking hurt. It's just inevitable. I checked out of this whole thing a few years ago. Nothing's really being done in our interests nowadays anyway.
Well, I
all
mean,
this has
it kind of stands to reason that the solo thing makes sense. I mean, she's lasted this long. Security or not, she had to get here somehow. So
And I don't know. I mean, she says she's one of those types that like swore off violence or something. I don't know.
That usually happens when people are real good at it.
You retire at the top, not.
Yeah. When your KD ratio is perfect, then you just step right out. That's something to consider.
I mean, listen, I don't get involved with all this politics stuff anymore. I can't be asked to care. It'll hit us all anyway. There's no point in fighting it, I suppose. I mean, how do you think we got, involved in this like fourth corporate war to fucking begin with? It's a bunch of fucking elites just playing God at this point.
Yeah, that's why you gotta make your own fun.
Anyone who wants to be in charge shouldn't be in charge. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. It just seems like too much of a hassle. I mean, like how they're speaking, like some people just have to be at the top, otherwise people just descend into violence. But, I don't know that much.
If that was the way of the world, I would be so successful. It would be my time to shine. I don't know. I'm kind of liking what you're saying. Maybe you should be in charge. Like, you shouldn't just drive cars. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not that bright, I don't know what it looks like anywhere else. And, I don't really have like the expertise, I've just seen what happens in Atlanta, and, I guess anything is better in comparison to the desolate wasteland that Georgia turned into. So, I don't know. I wish you guys like good luck on this. I would say break a leg, but I guess that stuff actually happens during missions. So good luck. I'll be out here again when you guys are done. As usual, I can't really leave this car unless, they take away my insurance if I leave it.
Ooh, yeah, definitely stay in the car.
Well, good luck, everybody. And she like waves off to you all as you all exit.
Sort of standing there where they got out of the car, Kel sort of looks at the others and is like, do we want to go in with a plan or just wing it?
Well, I think the only real question is, how do we get her away from whatever this security is? Because it sounds like she's gonna be a handful on her own.
A bigger security issue than us.
I could make a distraction. If you want to sweep in and do what needs to be done, I can certainly pull focus long enough for that to happen.
I mean, I don't know a lot about politics, but we could try to start something like with your music, get the crowd inspired.
That's what I was thinking, and I'll just be ready to run.
Everyone give me a perception check. I'll do that again. This is for your awareness.
16.
Oh, I'm so unaware.
Yeah.
11.
13. I rolled a 1 though, so I don't know if that makes it worse.
I'm so glad I didn't put the difficulty that high.
I've never been less aware.
Where are we? I'm lost.
Mom, is
This is the right mall.
Mom has abandoned you, saying that they'll be back with ice cream. It never came. But Inky, you have cataracts. You don't see anything. You don't know what's going on. You're just like, I don't even know where I'm at, to be honest with you. I don't know where this is. Who got 16? Okay, so you see the place quite literally crawling with security, right? All heavily armed up to the teeth. But you also see, Elani, along with her followers, which seemed to be like a massive horde of people practically, all sat on the ground in this hippie-like wear. All of them seem, as you know, the briefing said, completely sworn off of violence. They don't have any even basic neuroware. They all seem to be completely opposed entirely to anything that the modern world in 2022 has to offer it, which you hardly saw nowadays. It was very rare that people even lacked basic neuroware. Kel, did you get anything?
Kel got an 11, so she saw nothing.
Yeah, that cataract is
Kel
hitting.
actually has like engine grease in her eye somehow. She's just blind.
You see nothing. Okay. But as you walk in, you can see like, you know, the security's kind of making sure that they have an eye on you. They don't really see any weapons on you currently, but they still making sure that they have an eye on everything. There's still people walking around doing their typical shopping, of course, but they know that if you don't look like a beatnik hippie from the 70s, that you aren't interested in anything that Lonnie has to say.
Is there an upper balcony that I can see over where everyone is?
There are three floors. So currently right now, base ground level, right? However, and like that is for the most part where Elani and her group is, right? You see the two upper floors, that's mostly where a bunch of shoppers are, and everyone is just, you know, minding their own business. Very few are interested in what she has to say. Most people are just, you know, minding their own business, shopping and everything. So, but yes, there are like balconies.
Okay, I think I'm gonna head as far up as I can. If nothing else, then I can make them chase me down the escalators, and that'll be fun. Uh, just I guess signal me when it's done.
When her speech is done?
When if I'm making a distraction, then I assume it's going to be one of you two. Actually, and I'm gonna I'm gonna reach into like one of the pouches that I carry and pull out between us so that security can't see what we're doing. I am going to hand Kel a tear gas grenade. Say, there's that in case you need a quick exit or you need to signal me.
Right out.
And I'm gonna head on up. We're able to hear each other when we're separated, right?
Yes, yes.
We have phones.
So you guys do have that basic neural wear. So you guys are. You don't need walkie-talkies, guys.
Kel kind of turns to Inky and is like, "Do you want me to make the shot?"
Either way. I get paid either way, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you are about to snipe her, give me. What are you using to shoot?
It's a good question.
I basically have two options: sniper rifle or a sword. So those are two very different plans that we could make. But I'm open. I can always just be giving you like backup in case security turns or.
If you've got the sniper rifle, then it's probably going to be you, because Kel's mostly the up close and personal fighting type. Like, she has a pistol and a combat knife and a stun gun
Ooh.
for non-lethal fun, which is not what today calls for. However, she does also have a grappling gun, so I'm gonna look up and hope I actually see something like a glass ceiling or a skylight or something, as many malls have.
They do have that.
Right.
So let me tell you what the mall looks like in general before you continue.
Should I roll for being able to see?
And I would hope that your oily, greasy hands did not obscure your eyesight entirely. That's what I'm gonna say. The mall had 3 floors. You could see the representative surrounded by supporters and tribal nomads. And for the most part, all the cops and security on the other end were practically cyborgs. It was a bit of a disposition and an odd split reality between those that completely sworn off technology entirely and those that were practically armed head to toe to the teeth in the latest upgrades, chromed out with all the newest and latest enhancements that you could only hope to bootleg off of someone. On the other end, even though it led way for Alani, it was a clear shot in spite of the fact that glass practically surrounded her. Of course, assassinations like these always came with caveat, with which risk making the woman a martyr and having her legion of followers become more extreme. Yet, then again, that wasn't your job. You weren't being paid to think. To quote Stephen directly, it's best not to think about things that slightly don't concern you.
She's surrounded by glass.
It's like a glass wall. It's not like
She's
like
in a glass case.
yeah, it's a glass case. It's not going to, like, if you fire off a shot, you will get her. It'll probably just be a bit hard, like it'll like be glass and then hitting her body. And you all have like high enough caliber, or the gun that you're using is a high enough caliber, so you should be fine, allegedly.
While they're milling around on that level, I want to pull out my pocket amp and my radio scanner and activate my heart mask. And up on the 3rd floor, if I can find like a table to stand on or something, some obnoxious high school theater student shit to do to draw attention to myself, then I will turn my amp up as loud as it will go. And the music that is playing is an old, I'm gonna say that it's an old 1990s song. It's by a group called the Backstreet Boys. It's something that I've always been very, very fond of. I have very vintage tastes.
I have never heard of that band before in my life.
You may need to sing a few bars.
Such very niche taste that you have.
Yeah, it's something about the way that they want it. They never specify what way they want it, but it's always really moved me. So with that blasting, I think I will probably do what I would do in real life, which is the entirety of the dance to I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys from the album Millennium. And just try and keep eyes on me as long as possible.
So what you can do for me, right?
Yeah.
You can either give me a dance roll, or you can give me a streetwise roll.
I'm gonna do streetlights. As soon as I find it. Yeah, okay. $13.
okay, you managed to get some people to gather around you. Some people look over that way, more so the more modern people, are more so enthralled by it. It doesn't really seem to be having any effect on the cops. That seem to be like, okay, it's some distraction on the second or third floor. It's not bothering me. And of course, all the hippies are just like, what is this music? This isn't Led Zeppelin. And they just keep on going on with their business, listening to Elani.
Um, I'm gonna reach out to Kel and Inky, because the music is very, very loud. So you hear this music like blasting over comms, and
Yeah.
also me, and just, um, Kel, do you need cover down there?
I'm gonna drop the smoke grenade and throw a road flare, and sort of that should light up the smoke enough that no one can see anything. And then I say, Inky takes the shot. I'm gonna work on decking the halls. He wanted the halls decked. I will deck the halls.
I will stay up here to keep you covered, and when I need to get out, I will drop my smoke grenade.
Right, Inky, can you make the shot and get yourself out? Because me going in for the body is probably going to draw attention away from you anyway. I'm hoping them looking for the shot will draw their attention so that I can get into the body to deck the hulls.
Sure, yeah, and I can try to provide cover. My goggles have anti-dazzle, so I don't think your road flare would like mess up my vision because I could be able to pull them down. So I'll try to aim for Kalani and then, try to take a little bit of cover, reload, and then see where Kel's at, basically, is my plan.
Yeah.
So
sorry. So Kel's fucking suiting up and going in. As soon as they agreed on the plan, she's suited up and going in. She's got her smoke mask on, she's got her tinted goggles on, and she's already pulling the pin on the smoke grenade.
If you are
She hasn't dropped it yet, but she's pulled the pin.
Okay, so when you throw it, I want you to.
She's not throwing it. She's walking into the crowd
with it. You're just walking
set
in
it
there
down.
Hand in her pocket. Well, sort of walking up like she's interested and intrigued and listening, like, that maybe makes sense.
Give me a stealth roll.
I mean, that's better than some of my other rolls. So.
Stealthily walking up with a trail of smoke.
Yeah.
the pin's out, but she hasn't released it, so it's just a handful of
will
something.
Be a bit. I'm giving you fair warning. It will be.
Figured.
Yeah.
But the thing is, pin's already pulled, so if someone shoots her and she releases it, grenade's going off anyway.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
We love to see it.
Right. Where is my?
Let me get my dice out because I'm seeing where this is going.
Where's my sneaky shit? There's my sneaky shit. Oh, thank God.
What?
23.
You passed the difficulty. Lucky you, it was 21.
I have a stealth of 14.
So, as you walk in, the cops and officers around you seem to be very confused. They like kind of see you, but they're like, oh, okay, whatever, who cares? She's in glass anyway, nothing's gonna happen. And they just keep, their sights for the most part. They're not really focused on you.
Kel walks into the middle of the crowd, sort of sits down awkwardly, kind of cross-legged, drops the grenade.
As I'll go back over to Inky for after this. But I do want to say, as you sit down, you see what essentially amounts to a bunch of tree-hugging hippies just gather around in awe of what they believe to be this person trying to revitalize humanity at that. She speaks, almost looking sorrowful. Our planet is rotting, yet no one does a thing about it. We've been lulled into a deep sleep by these corporate interests. Look at how many people it has killed. I'm proposing a revolutionary concept, progressive income tax, as well as a 5% tax on corporate profits. We've allowed this to continue for too long. The soul of the collective human bioconsciousness has become weak. She almost seems fearful as she's saying this. She seems scared, almost stunted, like she knows what's about to happen, even if she doesn't see anyone. Okay. Now, Inky, you're trying to take a shot, correct?
It's the signal. Signal to murder the pacifists.
It is the signal to murder the pacifists. So I'm going to assume you are going to be shooting her, correct?
Yeah.
Give me an archery roll.
Archery? Because this should be a shoulder arm, I think.
Okay.
Rifle.
Okay. So
at least that's where I put all of my skill points.
Go ahead and roll that for me then.
Sweet. 15. Once again, I rolled a 1, so I'm gonna switch my dice out here.
Yeah, you gotta start preying on them. So you shoot. This was a difficulty of 16. You shoot, but unfortunately, you shoot and you miss. By this much, too, to make it all the worse. It breaches the glass, shattering it. All of a sudden, you hear this uproar of people just screaming and crying, just like, what's going on? What's going on? Someone's trying to shoot her. Someone's trying to kill her. And all of a sudden, the cops are now trying to search around, trying to find the person who took the shot, and if they have any accomplices. Now, let me ask before I tell you what they're about to do. What do you guys want to do?
I would like to use the ensuing ruckus to just slip off the table and slip into the crowd and make my way back down to where they are.
Okay. Okay.
Kel has now released the smoke grenade, so it should be getting nice and smoky in the crowd. She's also going to crack the road flare. I'm going to actually say 2. Throw them to opposite sides so there's light and shit going on either side of the crowd. And can she still see?
You can, but it's looking like she's trying to run away and usher some of her supporters out.
But I saw that the shot missed.
Yes, you saw that the shot missed. You saw that.
All right. Gonna handgun. I'm nice and close.
Okay, you're okay.
I'm nice and close. The glass is broken.
Okay, so she's not paying attention. She's running around. She's rushing. You know what? Let's have fun with this to make sure you shoot the right person.
I've got 12 shots and very few morals, so
the right person.
The right person for this job, baby. Let's go ahead. Roll me. You're using a handgun, right?
Yeah. 12 shots, concealed weapon, 2d6 damage.
Yeah, roll me for your handgun.
Right, so rolling handgun skill, that is 18.
Why did you guys do this to me? Please roll, please. Wait, so you got an 18?
Yeah.
Why? You were what? Okay,
I
guys.
also one away from hitting.
Yes, it was 19. It was a 19 difficulty. You shoot. You slightly miss.
She's
And
really fast. It's not our fault. And it's really smoky in
Running
here.
around.
And there's
It's
a
a new
breeze.
instead of shooting Alani, you shot one of her supporters.
I'm okay with that. I'm making an example. Halls will be decked.
On my way down, can I still see her, Elani?
Yes.
Then, rather than meeting up with Inky and Kel, I want to try to circle around and cut her off.
Okay.
Keep in mind, Kel is looking like the fucking Terminator right now.
No
And
one
I'm
cared
feeling-
who I was until I put on the mask.
He's just gonna keep firing off shots. He is
Also-
firing into the crowd.
Just, if you're shooting random civilians, go ahead. You're just shooting them. I'm not going to make you roll for killing some civilians. You got it, bestie.
I have also
mean,
deactivated this guy.
she's trying to shoot her still, but
Okay,
she's not purposefully killing the civilians. They're just in the way.
so keep on rolling for me. So, sweetheart, you're trying to rush over and circumvent her from running, right?
Mhm.
Give me an athletics roll.
I'm looking for it. I don't see it yet, but I feel like I don't want to do that. Okay.
This is going well, guys. Inky, is there anything else you want to do?
Yeah, so I see Kel and Sweetheart doing the thing they're supposed to, so I think Inky would pivot towards like the exits and just make sure nothing police don't come in or worse security, or kind of keep an eye on like suppressing fire for the group.
So security's kind of rushing around trying to figure out who took the shot. There are still security on the ground, but now there's security trying to go up the stairs, again armed to the teeth, trying to figure out who took the shot.
That is a 16. I finally found it on my sheet. I'm so sorry.
Wait, so you rolled a 16?
No, I rolled a 9 plus my base for athletics.
Wait, so what did you get?
Total, I got a 16.
Okay, yeah. Kel, what did you roll?
Well, I rolled all 12 of the shots, so including the first one, 4 of them hit, 3 of them being a 20 and 1 being a 23.
Okay, this is how this goes.
She emptied the clip while, like, Terminator walking towards her.
So this is how this goes. Sweetheart, you try and rush over towards her. You were 3 off. It was a base. I put a base at 19. So unfortunately, didn't work. However, what happened is that eventually, Kel, you start going off like Rambo, shooting just indiscriminately. Like,
Moderately discriminately.
Moderately discriminately. You are trying to kill this woman, yet let's be honest, you did shoot some of her supporters in the process. One of them was running, trying to cover her, got shot in the back. The other one, you passed right through the side of his cheek. Dental work can't fix that, And, a few others, you managed to shoot them. However, within the flurry of bullets, you managed to shoot out of your pistol. 4 of your shots hit. You have shot this woman 4 times, raining them in through her abdomen and through her legs, and she falls to the ground, clutching her stomach. She is now practically immobile. She's alive, but she is immobile. As more of her supporters try and run away, thinking that she has escaped with them, she groans, holding her hand up towards her chest, trying to stop the bleeding. groaning and grimacing, trying to keep herself alive. She tries to find who did it. She's bleeding out. It's slowly but surely happening, but she's gonna die.
Am I able? Oh, I'm sorry.
Why? Why? I. Why did you do this?
The world can't be fixed.
Sweetheart, you were trying to do something. What are you doing?
If you will allow me, I would just like to come up behind her and tap her with my stun baton and knock her out so that she's not conscious for what happens next.
Okay. She's on the ground. She's already hurt.
Yeah.
You tap her slightly to add insult to injury.
No, she's bleeding from the stomach, and that hurts so bad. So I just want her to take a little nap, and then everything else will happen.
After she tries to claw, she's trying to claw away. She tries to speak, trying to look at her assailant. Yet, as she's doing that, she is firmly knocked out by Sweetheart's baton.
Is Kel close enough to grab her?
Yes.
Kel grabs her, grappling gun, through the ceiling.
Okay, so yeah, I'll say just give me an athletics roll for that one. Everyone else,
But just
you
a 10
try.
plus athletics?
Yes. Everyone, try and escape.
That is
It's
19.
19. Okay. Okay. You get out. Like right on the marker. You get out.
Right.
You get out. You're hauling her with her. You have muscles. She's practically a lump of potatoes at this point.
Kel decks the halls. She ties her to the rope of the grappling gun, hooks the hook over one of the beams supporting the glass ceiling, and adds another cut down the middle and drops her. So she's tied under the arms, dropped from the ceiling.
Once you do that,
Sorry.
you can kind of hear, you can almost see her eyes fading in and out, just looking up at you with this an awe look, just like she's trying to say something. Her bloody outstretched hands are trying to clasp on to something, whether it was trying to speak directly towards you to some civilian, or perhaps even trying to speak to her god. It didn't matter now. As she splat firmly onto the ground, all you see is viscera, bones, tendons, muscle just decorate.
It didn't hook properly?
No, like you said that she went splat and like.
No, I was hanging her from the.
Oh, you were hanging.
Like I tied her to the grappling hook and hung her.
Okay. Let me
tied under the arm, decking the halls.
Okay, so as you hang her, she looks lazily towards you, almost as if she's trying to say something. Yet all that seems to come out are these whimpered, almost as if she's trying to make the words out. Yet it immediately falls into this dialect, this language that you're not even familiar with, as she just is there limply as life is just fading out from her eyes, as she's just hanging there like the martyr that you and Militech have respectfully made of her.
Followed his instructions to the letter.
Do you want to take the picture?
She does. She takes the picture. Job is done. Gut shot, 4 gunshot wounds, and a knife wound on top of it. Hanging from the rafters in front of all for all to see. Example thoroughly made.
So, how are you all going to escape?
Carefully.
Okay, well, tell me all how you want to escape, and I will give you the rules dictated off of that, all right?
Kel's now on the rooftop, so I'm hoping there's like a emergency ladder or something she can action
There
slide
is.
on,
There
or
is. There is. And you're right outside. There's no security up top. You're okay. Go ahead. You don't have to make any rolls, sweetie. You did good. You did good, honey.
I don't think good is what that's called.
Sweetheart. Inky.
Have we been to this mall before?
Would you say? Yeah, sure. I would say that you have.
I would like to, I assume like behind the bathrooms or something, that there's like that long hallway that leads off to maintenance. I want to make for that and try to make my way out through the maintenance access.
Give me a stealth roll. Inky.
I think because of all of the chaos that Kel caused, I'm gonna try to just, scoop some blood that's lying around and look like I'm injured and like try to run out with the hysterical crowd.
Okay.
Give
me a stealth roll too. Give me a stealth roll too.
I was here to buy pants.
What did you get, sweetheart?
I finally rolled better this time. It was a 19 total.
Okay, you're out. You're out.
Was it another one, Inky?
No. It's a 17.
Okay. Inky, you did your best, darling. So you try to do this. You rub some blood on you. You look deranged. However, for some reason, as you are trying to run out, along with her supporters, one of her supporters, for some reason, seems to have been able to vaguely identify you, or at least identify the fact that you are not one of them. You are not dressing like one of them. You're one of those augmented freaks, to put it quite nicely. All of a sudden, you hear this woman's shrill scream, just like, "That's her! That has to be her! Get her now! She's trying to leave!"
Excuse you.
The difficulty was 19. The difficulty was 19! Now, since Sweetheart is out, unless Sweetheart wants to somehow go back in, I'm going to need for you to roll me an athletics roll. And remember, if need be, you can always succeed at a cost. I promise I'm a nice person.
No, that's way better. 21.
Okay. So the people manage to see you, but as soon as that woman starts screaming and yelling, saying, get her, you dash out the crowd. You're out. You're out. Now, you are all outside the building. There is chaos ensuing, and you all manage to leave unscathed.
Suspicion rising.
Emotionally scarred.
Now, with that being said, as you all exit, you can still hear the screaming going on from within the building. Yet, as you all exited the once pristine and now chaos-filled mall, you see Brittany there once again, ready to pick you all up. As soon as you all entered the car, you got the notification with your Euro dollars entering into your respective accounts. And lucky for you all, it was finally over now. With that being said, Brittany looks back towards you all. She's like smiling lightly as she proceeds to drive you off. She's like, "Oh, you guys are back. I'm so happy you're here. Are you guys like okay?" Like, it kind of seemed like a big deal.
Could have been worse. They definitely did this time.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, at least you won't have to hear from like Steven again, I guess,
I assume we're gonna hear from him no matter what.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's never happy.
Uh, I mean, them's the rules, I guess. Nothing can ever be perfect. Now, where should I like drop you guys off? It seems like, you're not due back into the office.
I'd like to go to the office anyway, if Steven's still there.
Okay. Anyone else? Or are you guys going to like the same place?
Oh, I want to see
Tag
it.
along.
Yeah.
We're all going to the office now.
Okay. She goes ahead, drives you all back, just like, so what is it like in there? What was she like? Well, I mean, she's dead now. What was she like?
Sad. Hopeful,
She wanted
but
to
sad.
do good. There's no room in the world for good anymore, though.
I guess so. I mean, that Elizabeth Crest lady already made a statement saying that she doesn't know how she got killed or who the perpetrators were, but we do, but public never will, I guess. I don't know.
There's
I
no
mean,
good in the world.
I don't know. Like, I'm not really into all the demagoguery stuff. She just seems like she talks too much. I don't know.
She's a politician. They all talk too much.
Yeah, good point. She like giggles slightly and like continues to drive off, and it's just like, so why do you guys want to go back to the office? I mean, no offense to you guys, but I don't like staying in there longer than I need to be.
Oh, I don't like it either. But I don't want Steven crawling down our backs again. We followed his instructions to the letter. He will get his evidence on his desk soon as the job's done, and I don't want to hear from him about it.
Okay, well, I guess I wish you luck then, I guess. At this point, you guys do have a moment to talk with each other before you all get to the Militech building.
You know how you said you wanted to do a gift for Steven? Like, I've had all this time to think while I watched Kel do all the work. So, I think a really nice gift would be if you wrote a song for him dedicated to Steven about all of his wonderful qualities that we so enjoy.
All of the hard work that he puts in that we don't understand. We're his inferiors. We couldn't understand that, but we can understand enough to sing of his greatness and his tales and make sure that he knows how appreciated he is. See if that brightens up his day. I will get to composing.
I'm so excited.
He's still not going to be happy, is he?
He's literally incapable, I'm pretty sure. The stick up his ass is crammed so far.
From birth.
Yeah.
Well, let's go pay him a visit.
Before you all leave, I want you guys, no base rolls, roll me a d10.
got an 8.
8, 3, 9. Sweetheart, you get a call. As your NeuroWare links up, you see it's from an unknown number. Yet, even though you don't know who it is, the familiar voice of your supervisor drifted in through the speakers. It wasn't the typical hyperinflated upbeat tone that you were familiar with in Dawning. This was unrestrained anger, more than evident in his timbre. You all had only seen this a few times. Even last time, before he went on this mission, he was still relatively contained. And now that wasn't the case. Now you fucking done it, you freak shit! You fucked up!
Which part?
You're being tracked by the fucking grid. The eye in the sky is watching. We're fucking coming for you. Prepare to die, pig shit.
I'm gonna end the call.
So
Okay.
who was that?
We have about, I'd say 15 seconds before Unholy Hell is raining down on our heads. I don't know what's happened, but Steven's more upset than I've seen him in a while, so we should get the fuck out of this car. We should go. We should definitely go.
Brittany, you should find a tunnel or something to drive through. We're gonna tuck and roll.
What?
Just go. Just drive now. Trust us on this.
Are you sure?
Find a tunnel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Tuck and roll. Slow down a little on the next corner. We'll tuck and roll.
And that is where we will end our story for the night. I'd like to thank my beautiful cast here for being able to come here. I'd like to thank everyone who has been watching, and thank you for Girls Run These Worlds for allowing me to tell this story. Please tell everyone where they can find you at.
Hi, I'm Amanda. You can find me on most social media as Balder Dashing, mostly just Instagram and TikTok these days. I don't do much of interest, but I do some dumb TikTok videos, mostly D&D based. That's all.
I'm DK. Hi, hello. You can find me at Abadarlings on Twitter, where it's basically, I've just recreated the Sad Girl Tumblr experience, but I've moved it to Twitter for everyone's benefit. So if that's something that you're interested in, it's a lot of aesthetic pictures and fragments of poetry. So that's a good thing. I also do TTRPG stuff and am working on a couple of new projects, and all of that is located there. Or you can find me at Exquisite Corpse Presents, which is my home channel and a home for unusual stories.
Hi, I'm Ark. I'm Arcanian, Ending everywhere. I'm not doing too much outside of this channel right now, so this is where you can find me mostly. Otherwise, I stream sometimes on my own. So, yeah.
And I've been your ST Cosmic Dazai. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, where essentially I roleplay as a war criminal who's also a bimbo. Thank you all for joining us, and see us next week for the next episode, the second episode away from our finale, to our Cyberpunk Red cycle for contour and charisma. Thank you.